Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum
Oh,
bum
man,
bum bum.
Man,
Man, man, man, man, man, man. Bum 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 bum.
Go on, let's join in. Man, 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 money, man, money, money, man, 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 bum, 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 bum. Bash Bros.
You want to build good quality, dense tissue, muscle, you've got to train heavy, you've got to train hard, and you've got to take your body to hell and back.
Oh, fucking nasty. Oh, let's go. Nasty time! Let's go! Let's go, man! Oh! Bring it! Yeah! Oh! Come on, let's do it! Let's go to work! First one! Come on, you fucking savage! Oh! Come on, roll fucking far! In! That's just the fucking warm-up.
Oh, there it is.
Hello. How we doing?
Yes, mate.
Master of Nasty is in.
All of a sudden, Dan's beard looks shit.
Oh, look at this. I promise, right? I
it.
promise we didn't call each other beforehand, right? Leroy?
Oh,
Oh, they all got him.
well, I don't have one. I only have, well, I did do back today, so I couldn't wear.
Yeah, at least you got some Team Nasty on. So there we go.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave me.
Just advertising there. we are doing a hardcore clothing giveaway, so Team Nasty giveaway, so that's a bit apt.
Where's your backdrop this weekend?
Oh, mate, do you know what? You guys didn't make any effort at all, so I'm not even going to do it. After Jose ripped the shit out of everybody last week, I was like, I ain't going to bother.
I'm not plug Googling, am I? No. I was going to give you a backdrop then. I was going to put my village on behind me. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you sound
Loud and clear, bud.
But if you've ever got a message off Leroy, he also does it in capitals, and I just can't. I hear it in his voice, just shouting. Like, how you doing, Dan, man?
Even now, if I write a message down or something, even at work, if I write, I have to write in capitals. I can't do that joined up writing no more.
Joined up text writing.
So, welcome back to episode 28 with Bash Bros. We have the Team Nasty on this week. Leroy and
I'm on Team Nasty as well.
yeah, no,
we're
but
not sure yet. We're not sure yet.
You're already been on the last.
Well, I'm in the videos, Amph.
Yeah, we haven't shamed with us for a while.
Oh, fucking hell.
So
yeah, what happened last time? What happened? What happened? Did you?
Oh no, my board shorts didn't fit, so.
What is the prerequisite to being in Team Nasty then?
Just gotta be fucking badass.
You just got to be nasty, really.
You gotta be in the gym. You gotta have.
I don't even know where Team Nasty came from, to be honest. Where did it come from, Leroy? I can't even remember.
I just want to ask that question.
I think we had a T-shirt made, and it kind of rolled on from there.
Yeah,
so
when we first started training together, I think you come up with the actual phrase of Team Nasty. You know what I mean? So that's all that.
I honestly can't remember, but it's kind of stuck. So we get tagged in it a lot now.
You've got to have at least 4 injuries that you're trying to work around if you want to come and train with the.
You've got to be able to die on an exercise and revive yourself and then die again, and then get revived by the lads stood around you. If you can do that, you're halfway there.
You're halfway there.
If you can self-res, you're there.
You've got to be able to self-res. That's it.
I think you almost died at Emporium Gym, Dan.
Me? Oh, mate, I fucking did die. I remember that. I was 2 weeks out. I don't know, like, it was obviously, I couldn't turn down the opportunity, but pretty much as soon as I did my warm-up, I regretted it immediately.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, there's always one.
Yeah, I do apologise. That was a first time for my daughter, so I won't get that.
Okay, we'll lay you off then.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
So, Leroy, before we kick off with the questions and stuff, I think it would be prevalent for those who don't know your history to give us a little rundown. What got you into bodybuilding? What led you to that path with Dorian? What got, you know what I mean? Just a sort of background thing. I mean, there's a ton of questions that we've got for you, but rather than jumping straight into that, it would be nice just to get a sort of background, I guess.
Nah, fuck that. If you're watching this and you don't know, just fuck off. Just smash your computer up or whatever you're watching it on. Just end yourself.
We know Leroy from those days, but what got him there? Do you know what I mean? What ended up? How did you get to be where you were? You know what I mean? That sort of stuff.
Well, yeah, I've always done a form of training. Even when I was a young lad, I was either doing boxing or martial arts. And as a young lad, I was a decent amateur boxer. One season, I shattered my thumb in what's called what was the NABC Championships there. I shattered my thumb, so I had to take a season out. And my elder brother took me down to the gym just to keep training, use a bit of weights, to put a bit of size, keep the strength up. And that's when the bug, I was about 14, 15, that's when the bug bit me to actually use the weights. And it sort of carried on from there. I never trained, I never really trained serious. I just kept fit right up until the early 90s. And in 93, when I was at a gym called Temple Gym in Birmingham, which it turned out to be the famous Temple Gym. It was owned by somebody else at the time, and I went down there to start training, and that's where I first sort of seen Dorian and seen him training, and the way I've always trained is disciplined. My attitude was, if you're going to go to the gym and train, if you're going to do anything. I mean, Anth made a good quote. I've heard him say that if he was to be a milkman, he'd want to be the best milkman. The same with anything I've done. If you're going to do something, or if I was going to do some type, I wanted to be the best of it. Do my best. It's no good going in half-heartedly or doing something, 80%. So when I went into the gym, I didn't know much about training. I didn't know much about nutrition, but I knew how to train myself. To a limit that sort of freaked a lot of other people out, and I just put it down to stamina. I was physically fit, I was mentally fit, and again, because of my history, I literally trained every day. So I put it down to that, and I used to train with these lads who were a lot bigger than me, a lot stronger than me, and yet for some reason they couldn't keep up. And so I remember watching Dorian train at Temple Gym one night, and I thought, yeah, I like the way he trains. He's obviously a lot bigger than me, and we'd say hello to each other, passage. We don't know each other very well. However, his first wife Debbie, and my missus knew each other, and got very close. And one day I remember him coming over to ask me to spot him in the gym. He must have looked around the gym and saw all these lads sort of training, and thought, we'll give him a go today. So I walked over, and he got 3 20s on either side of the bar, 3 plates either side of the bar. And in them days, in the early 90s, that was everybody's dream, was to bench press 3 plates. Everybody's dream. Everyone that come to the gym would always try and fail miserably, these 3 plates. Anyway, so, and to be honest, I passed him the bar, and I thought, I better stand by here. And he repped out 10 reps easily. 10 reps, and my jaw just hit the ground. I could not believe that this guy had just ripped. I was looking around the gym to see if everybody had seen this, and the whole gym had stopped to watch him do this. And instantly, I don't know if you've ever done this, but you see somebody, you witness someone, and that straight away, that was my hero. That was someone I wanted to mimic and sort of copy. So my aim, I gave myself 3 months to bench press 3 plates aside, and me and Dos would get talking, and he'd come and watch us train. We used to have a lot of banter. He used to have his training partner, and I used to train with a lad called Des, who was very strong. He was an animal, Des was. And, we'd throw insults across the gym at each other, and it was good. The atmosphere was good, really good. And he asked me one day if I'd train with him. And I did. And then he said, do you want to make this a regular occurrence? But I couldn't make it a regular occurrence at the time because of the job I was doing. So eventually he got himself into a situation where he could change that himself. So he did, and he approached me again. And then we started training with each other. And again, it's because he liked my attitude, he liked the way I approach things and the way I done things. So we sort of gelled in that way. With his mental attitude and my sort of discipline, it worked a treat.
Yeah. So you became the hype man then, I guess, the guy who was pushing Mr. Olympia. But did you have any sort of competitive ambitions yourself?
Not at the time. I did compete. I did compete. When I first started training in weights, a guy we used to know, a guy called Tom Biscoe, God bless him. He sort of took us under his wing, and he told me I could compete in the junior. I'd done a few shows in the junior ranks, and I placed. I didn't disgrace myself. I'd done very well actually. And then I didn't compete for I think it was like 10 years. I didn't compete. And when I started training with Dorian, I decided that I could put myself through the training that he'd done, not a problem. But could I put myself through the diet and that regime? So I decided, I've got to. I needed to know what he went through. So I decided to compete again in '96 in the. I think it qualified for the British Championships, and so I went through. I put myself through what he was going through. Same diet, same training regime, and competed. And to be honest, without blowing my own trumpet, when I walked on stage, I didn't even get a comparison. They just put me over in the corner.
Because you competed, you qualified for the British, didn't you?
Yeah, 2 years on the trot, I qualified for the championships.
But it's because people that don't know, explain why you didn't take them up on that.
Because at the time, the British Championships was always held, I think it was a week after the Olympia, or either a week before or a week after the Olympia. And because Doz was competing in the Olympia, I'd be in America with him. So there was no way I could sort of compete in the British Championships and be there at the same time. So they did try and blackmail me and promise me things and all that. Oh, you need to compete. You're going to walk. But obviously, I was needed elsewhere. So, and to be honest, I didn't really sort of think it was important to compete in the finals. I thought it was more important for me to be with Mr. Yates over in the States doing his bit.
Fair play. That's a next level commitment for a training partner and friend, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But again, at the time, I never thought about it that way. But bodybuilding is a lot of people that come into bodybuilding, they get a shock. It's a selfish sport. It's a very, very selfish sport. You've got to be selfish, and you've got to also be selfish for your partner or your partners, whoever you're training with. Sometimes they'll do something or they'll attempt something and you got to jump on it. No, you got to stop them, and vice versa. Sometimes you got to put, if you're competing, you put yourself first. And if you're training in a squad of, if you've got three, say you got 2 training partners, push yourself, and you're competing, your 2 training partners have got to put you first. They load out, they go and get the weights, they make sure you're okay. And then when it's your turn, you change it around. It's selfish. It's got to be selfish. And if you want to you want to reach the levels that you're capable of reaching, then unfortunately you've got to have that frame of mind. You've got to put yourself first, which is not good for, if you're a family man, you know, your family do suffer, your close friends suffer, but you've got to make it worth it. If it's not worth it, then you don't do it. If it's worth it, your family's got to understand that. And it's a massive commitment for you and your family to take on, because your family do miss out. They miss out on you. They miss out on parties or family gatherings. You know, you've got to eat at a certain time. You've got to sleep at a certain time. You've got to be regimental. You've got to be disciplined, and your family and young kids have to understand that. And some of them are very young, and you know, they want to play with daddy, but daddy needs to be at the gym, or daddy needs to sleep, or daddy needs to have a meal. So a lot to take on, a lot to think about, and a lot of people don't sort of take that on board at the beginning, and they learn a harsh lesson. There ends my marital.
Well, see, you have a lot of people that say, like, oh yeah, balance and blah blah. Obviously, balance is relative, but there's no fucking balance in bodybuilding.
No, you think there is. People that think there are kidding themselves. They are. You can make you. I mean, you if you're not working, if bodybuilding's your income, okay, then you could do it. You plan it, okay, you plan it. If you're in a position where you don't need to work 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day, and then go to the gym and spend an hour and a half there, half hour of a morning doing your cardio, half hour after your training session doing another bit of cardio. You know, it works out 12 hours a day. If you can spend 12 hours a day away from your family, but still manage to fit time in to take, babies to play football or horse riding or whatever you do with them, then great. But a lot of people have got a full-time job. Their missus has got a full-time job. It's hard to balance. When people say, "Oh yeah, you balance it," time management. Yeah, we all try and manage our time, but it doesn't always work, does it? It doesn't. Your family's life sometimes does not work, or your working life doesn't work around the bodybuilder's life. Do you agree with that, Mr. Bales?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, you got guys, like you say, if you're going to reach your like ultimate true potential, there is no real balance. You're obviously going to try and balance it out, but it's going to cause issues, unfortunately. You just have to be that focused, don't you? And it is a little bit selfish, unfortunately. But again, especially like at someone like Dorian's level, you know, there's also money involved and contracts and stuff. There's certain obligations that you just got to do and get it done.
Yeah, you got sacrifices. You got to be prepared to make sacrifices, and some of them are big sacrifices. You know, if your baby's birthday party, if you're organising a party or gathering for your young child, and you also have a commitment on that day. What do you do? You got to make sacrifices, and sometimes you try and make a decision to please. You can't please everybody. You can't please yourself as well as your sport and as well as your family. So it's hard. It's a hard life. People don't realise that. They look down. They only see when you walk out on stage. They see the finished product. They don't see what's gone into that. They don't understand the hours, the torment, the sacrifices. They don't see it. They don't understand it until they try it themselves, and then it becomes a massive eye opener and learning curve for a lot of them.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that are claiming balance and stuff are the people that have either made coaching, so they have like complete flexibility in their work. Obviously, it's still work and stuff, but they don't have like the 9 to 5 and then the gym and stuff like that. If you're doing that as well, like you're up at 6, you're gone, and then you're back at 9. Do you know what I mean? If you've got kids, they're already in bed, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in bed before you leave, and they're in bed by the time you get home.
Yeah.
It's yeah. But yeah, as I said, but if you're lucky enough to be in that position where you can time manage, where you work, slot a bit of time in to pick them up or even take them to school, slot another hour in the afternoon to spend with them before they go to bed. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. In our day, that didn't happen. We know we in our day we couldn't make a living out of coaching or being a nutritionist or whatever. We couldn't. You worked to feed yourself. You worked to feed your family. If you didn't work, you didn't eat. So yeah, I mean, I'm talking old school. Nowadays, it can be managed and balanced, as you says, but only if you're lucky enough to be in that position. How many of us are in that position? That's
you just get an OnlyFans page now. Just get your vagina out on the internet. You're sorted.
I said this not so long back because obviously I'm injured now, so I can't compete. But even if I wasn't injured, I said I would really struggle to compete now. I have a daughter. I would find that really tough to say, like, oh, sorry, I can't play. I got to go to the gym or So I'm pleased I did my stuff that I did.
Well, the irony is, Anth, is that I've got 3 kids, but because I'm not with their mum, I have them at the weekends. So I have them Friday to Sunday. So I just coincide my rest days. So I have Friday and Saturday from the gym. And then when they go back on a Sunday, then obviously I can retire in that way. It works well for me, but I'm not suggesting for a second that if somebody wants to be a bodybuilder, they need to get a divorce. But
I mean, I'll give you an example. So my usual kind of pre-workout kind of ritual was like go in the bedroom, maybe just put blood and guts on for the 195 millionth time. But now listen to some music, get psyched up, get fired up, get the headphones on in the gym. Now the last stretch of training, like serious training that I did before, like this injury kind of fucked us up, was I was watching Peppa Pig and stuff. So it's kind of different, just different. And then there was no way I would say, I'm sorry, I'm not watching Peppa Pig, Leah. I'm going to go listen to Matt Valley Motivation for 20 minutes.
Have you ever had that occasion where your daughter's not there and it's still on the telly, and you like half an hour later you've only realised you still got it on?
No, I would not watch Peppa Pig by choice. Trust me. Now, it still is like you say. If you had your kids around every day, it would be a different issue.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say. I was going to say, luckily, you're divorced, but that sounded awful. Luckily, it's a scenario that suits you.
It does. Ironically, I get solid quality time with my kids on the days when I'm not in the gym. So obviously the rest day food kind of coincides with that. And then I can be, sort of regimented and solid with it for 5 days a week when the kids are not there, So, it works well for me. Obviously, like Leroy said, you've got to work and stuff as well, pile that on top. If I had my children through the week and stuff as well, chances are I wouldn't see them anyway. So, anyway, so should we jump straight into some questions? I'll go first. There's a couple I've got, but some are fairly obvious questions that people have asked.
I don't know whether everyone else got this. I've got so many baiting ones. Like, why are bodybuilders shit now? Stuff like so much bait, going in. So I'm gonna not read those. They were so fucking loaded. I don't know whether everyone else got that. They were just there with their spoon, going let's stir all of this up.
Well, ironically, my first one's going to be a little bit baiting, but a very, valid question. It's from Steve Dyer. Do you think people overcomplicate training these days?
Who's that to, Jonathan? Is it
to you, bud, obviously.
Oh, to me, okay.
It's all to you.
Yeah, it's all to me.
The Chiefs in time, man.
I'm just part of the team now.
Yeah,
I'm here for the ride now.
It's here for the tan.
Yeah, the place answer to that, of course they do. Of course they do. They overcomp. If you go into any gym now and stop and have a look around and see the exercises they're performing or trying to perform, and you think, where the fuck have they got that from? What do they think they're doing? And if you go over and ask them, they'll turn around and give you an answer. And the cable one's the one. It's just. What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing my back. But you're pulling it with your arms. Can you not feel it? Yeah, my arms are pumped. Is your back pumped now? So why are you training your back? Well, yeah, he said so. Where did you say so? I watched it on the media. But again, you know, you're talking to a dinosaur, old school. In our day, we were, you were limited on machines and angles and whatever. I mean, for instance, if you go into Am's brand new gym now, he's got like 4 or 5 machines for each body part, all slightly angled, and you feel every movement. So each muscle group is attacked at a different angle and a different movement. In our day, we had to keep it simple because we had simple machines. But it worked. You know, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. It worked by if you keep it simple, it's logged in there. So when you go back next week, you know exactly what you've done. You know exactly what weights you've done. You may change a machine over because, you know, you're a lucky one. You have got 2 machines for this one movement. You probably change the machine over, or instead of doing wide grip, you come in a bit of a close grip on back, or you might use a close grip pull, low pull. So in reality, we had to keep it simple in the 90s and that. So we weren't as privileged nowadays as the lads and lasses are nowadays. And you know, as I say, you walk into a gym now, you can witness that by just looking at what they've got set out. You know, we had probably 3 or 4 machines for the chest. You go into Am's gym now, he's probably got about 24 machines for chest, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You know, one, it means you're never standing around waiting for somebody to stop talking to the mates on the phone because they've just done an umpteen set of 2 reps and they're impressed with themselves. You can hit it, you can change it slightly because, you know, change is as good as a rest. So you can, you know, instead of doing a complete upright incline, you can just drop the angle slightly. So you're spoilt. I think you're spoilt nowadays when if a gym owner's switched on and looked at the machines he's got in there. Very spoilt. So however, even with those machines, you can still keep it simple. You can still keep the basic movements, which is what build deep tissue and granite-looking muscle, rather than doing, you know, silly cable works for 50 sets of 50 reps and. But yeah, but again, that's my opinion. I've always said I'll keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Do you think you can tell? Can you tell the difference between a physique that trains like that, or do you obviously people think obviously you can make an assessment of a dense looking physique, you know, if they train harder and more intense than those now who are overcomplicating it?
Of course you can. There's a massive difference. Even the guys who were sort of privileged and got that see-through skin and that grainy muscle, you know, if you don't train to maintain that, you start to lose it, especially as you start putting size on. It goes. But the beach bodies that have been sort of, well, I believe we're losing the beach bodies now, aren't we? The bodybuilding is coming back. That's what I hope from the last few sort of Olympias, and you look at the physiques they're picking or going for, then you've got to try. You've got to keep it. You've got to keep it simple. You've got to train heavy. You've got to keep the rep range as low as you can, so you can put the intensity in. If you're doing 25 reps a set, you're training with your mind because all you're thinking about is I've got to get that 25th rep out. So you're not going to put 100% into that set. No way. You probably put 100% in the last rep because you got your last rep out. But if you pull the weight on and you know you've got to get 6 reps out, 6 good clinical reps, you're going to go for them 6 reps and you're going to put 100% into them 6 reps because the weight is bearing down on you. You've got to move that weight. Your partner's not going to do it, and this is where your partner's being selfish because he's saving his energy for his set. See, so by forcing you to do them 6 reps, you're going to bend and build and bow your muscles. You're going to rip them. You're going to tear them apart. So they've got to rebuild, and you can hit that deep tissue, them deep fibers, which is what you need to rip those deep fibers. It's not good just pumping blood through, getting a pump feeling and thinking that's it. And the following day you don't feel nothing. If you rip those fibers and attack them from 2 or 3 angles, rip them, so that it's then going to take 7 days, between 5 and 7 days, depends on your recuperation, to repair. So the day after, you're going to feel that you've hit the area. 2 days after, you're going to find it hard to brush your teeth. The day after that is even harder, and then it should start settling down. So, so keeping it simple to me, and always it's works. I've never changed it. I've always kept it simple. I've never tried to over complicate. Even when training with people, keep it simple. I've always kept it simple. I'm bored. I suppose it's boring in one way.
Well, there's
People
nothing boring about your
Nothing.
training.
Nothing bored about blood and guts. I mean, this was the thing as well. When like I hear about people training legs twice a week, and maybe I'm just made of different stuff, and I'm just like, fucking how?
Yeah.
Like if so that's like giving me a rest of like 3 days. Like my DOMs have only just really kicked in. Like, so that's like the not having a shit properly zone. And now I'm like going to go and do it again. Like, I don't get it. I mean, for me, like, obviously, like, unless you've got the recuperation, like, you know, of a rhino or whatever, you're training legs twice a week in your mind, but you've never trained legs.
Yeah, you're lying to yourself. If you think in your mind that you can train, you can train. Oh, no, let's be honest. You can flush blood through your legs twice, maybe even 3 times a week. That's not a problem. All right, you can do that. You can do sort of quickly pump. But if you train your legs properly, as we would train it, not like a fitness man or woman would do, but as we should train to build muscle, to break down and rebuild. There's no way upon this earth you can do that twice in 1 week. Not with the intensity you've got to use. You'll do your first workout, and then you probably could try it for 3 or 4 days later, but there's no way you're going to get to the same weight. There's no way you're going to be able to put in the same effort. And your legs are not recovered. They definitely haven't recovered. So people that say, even now when people say to me, oh, you're training legs twice a week, I say, you fucking liar. You're lying to yourself because you're not fucking training legs twice a week. So
I mean, I have tried it.
Yeah, I've done it. I've tried it. But
I've tried it, and I've never got weaker faster.
Yeah.
Like literally, I mean, I don't need a logbook because I have like a memory, and I can like put things in it and access it later. It's mad. And so like, it was like every week, like shitter and shitter and shitter and shitter. Like I just, it doesn't. I mean, I think you can split like quads and hams.
Yeah, you can do that, but even that, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't. And the reason for that is if you hit your thighs, you batter your thighs, and then you try 3 days later or 4 days, you try and lay down and do your hams on a machine or fucking calf raises on a seat. You try to do that. This is just agony. It's just agony for me. So I can't do that. No way.
You wouldn't do them on consecutive days then?
Oh, no, I just like to hit them all together. Hit them all together and then hobble away, more like a cowboy for 3 or 4 days. And then you think, yeah.
Sorry.
You're shitting yourself because you know you got to go through it all over again.
That was a dig at Geraint.
That was it.
Yeah, Geraint.
I was waiting for it. No, I do it right now. Talking about legs, Leroy, obviously you talk about pre-exhaustion on quads and stuff. What's your best exercise in pre-exhaust?
Your leg extensions.
Spice set.
Spice. Yeah, spice, like not like spice like turmeric. Spice like that shit they smoke in jail.
Nah,
like that's the sort of spice. Like it's not a
Leroy spice set's got like the set with everything in. That's why I call it a spice set. So it's got like fucking drop sets, negatives, statics, fucking all kinds of shit in there.
Mate, have you ever had anyone like actually leave like where after they've done that, like just done the spice and then just been like, yeah.
We had many moons ago. Ernie Taylor come down to train legs with us and his mate Steve, and we done I explained what we were going to do. We're going to use leg extensions just to pre-exhaust, warm the thighs up, warm everything up. And after the second set, he lay down on the floor and he's going, "Fucking hell, that was Titanic." He didn't move. He didn't move after that. He just lay there. Oh, what's happened?
Still got you, Leroy.
No, you got you. We're good. We're good.
Oh, I've lost you.
Oh no.
Oh, there you're back. Yeah, he just lay there for the rest of the session, just rolling around, going, "Titanic. That was Titanic."
What the
We
fuck?
fucking started, yeah.
What's it even mean?
Does he mean heavy?
In other words, we just sunk him. He just got sunk. But again, lads, because of the weight you're going to push, because of what's coming, you know, your compound move, you know, you got your leg press, you got your hack squat or your squat, your free bar squat, or your Smith squat, whatever you're doing, you know, you got your compound movements coming, and that's in your mind. So you've got your legs, you've got two knees. You've only issued, God only gave you two knees, so you got to look after them. So I learned very, very early that you got to warm your legs up. You've got to warm them up. You've got to make sure that they're ready. They're ready for this weight that's coming. So pre-exhausting them, killing them. Oh, yeah, it's a wake up call, isn't it? And if you get over that exercise, the pre-exhaust or the spice sets, as I'm calls them, if you get over them, you should be, as you're walking to the leg press, your legs are shaking, they're fucking shaking, and you'll think to yourself, "I'm not going to do this." But you get on there, you get on the leg press, you pull the weight on, and because you warmed up properly, and because your knees are ready, your thighs are ready, and you warmed your hamstrings up, everything, you press, you can move some weight in a good disciplined manner as well, and it's good.
I do remember, like, when, because it wasn't the first time I trained with you, but when Amp was saying, when my soul left, it was I was 2 weeks out or something, and met you in Emporium, and the smelling salts were out. It was all getting a bit weird. I looked like I'd fucking been like dug up. And the extensions, like the warm-up extensions, I was like, "Oh, fuck this. Fuck all of this." And I hadn't even fucking started. Even like fucking Greenish was like filming it, and I was like, "I wish this wasn't being documented. Like, it's fucking horrible." I've still got the videos somewhere, and I just, like, even for the warm-up, my whole face just drained of blood. It never returned for the whole fucking, it was just, and I knew what was coming, but I still, fuck me. It was horrendous.
Johnny, what you got to say to yourself in them situations is, whatever you're going through, you know that you're going to put your partners through it. That's the only sort of saving grace and the only pleasure you're going to get out of that.
Yeah, but I had you and fucking Amp to work with. I was hardly going to destroy you. I was a fucking ghost. There was none of that. "Oh, I'm going to fuck these guys up." No, you're not, Dan. You fucking dead. You can put as many smelling salts in your face as you like. But
the thing is, though, Dan, is you got through it, didn't you?
Did you die? Did you die?
You died. You died. You revived yourself.
Yeah, I did the self-res. I was right. Yeah. And
you got through it. It is crazy because that first exercise that we do to sort of warm our legs up, you know, I don't know how Amphi is and yourself, Dan, but when you're training people, they're fucking high, and you see their soul leaves the body because they think, "Fuck you, I've never done leg extensions like this. I've never done this before." What do you mean? You know, it's SOPs. It's a standard exercise. You move the weight from the bottom to the top. You squeeze. It's a simple exercise, and yet the guys that you put through a session, they don't. You have to show them how to do it, which is unbelievable to me. Sometimes it's a basic exercise. The machine is self-explanatory. You move the weight from there to there, and you squeeze your thighs.
Got drawings on it and everything.
Yeah. And I can't do.
The difference being, Leroy, is your idea of a warm up and the average person's idea of a warm up is slightly different.
They are, but it's the actual exercise itself that sort of, one, it wakes the legs up. it does wake the legs up, and obviously, and it warms them up and it flushes the blood through. But it's the actual movement itself. It's so simple. People will cut it short, or they won't squeeze at the top. You know, anybody, and I say this all the time. It's one of my quotes that anybody, even my grandson, can move a weight from A to B. Okay, you can put a peg in a stack, grab hold of the bar, and you can move it from A to B. The skill is not. Well, it's not even a skill, but what you're going to achieve is you want to use the muscle group that movement is intended for. Make redundant all the other muscle groups, and just use, if you're doing leg extensions, you want to use your thighs to move the weight from A to B, and that's the whole of the thigh, from the toe at the hip right down to the knee. You want to use it all. And if you don't, you're not doing the exercise properly, and you're not warming the whole leg up. If you're doing biceps,
there is a thing when you're doing it, you test the activation like right at the hip.
Right at the hip, yeah, because that's where it comes from. That's where it starts.
A lot of people don't get the contraction high enough to actually engage that part. It's all around the knee, and I remember when I won the raffle, which was like
you lost.
I lost
twice.
That was a fucking wake up, like to control the rep like that much and almost like come up off your hamstring to engage that like top part. And that was an eye opener.
But again, Dan, once you were shown, it sticks in, doesn't it? It's something that you'll never forget, and you'll never let anybody else get away with it. That's the thing, and again, it's just part and parcel of that exercise. It's knowing how to incorporate the right muscle group at the right time with the right machine or the right movements, and it's not rocket science. It's simple. These machines have been made to make life easy for us. We've got to get the weight from A to B, but we've got to use the right muscle group. We don't need to swing or incorporate, your bite, or you're pulling down. Again, it depends on your grip. You make your grip's not 100% squeezing. You just hold on to the bar, so your back's pulling the bar down rather than your biceps. You sit there and you explain this to the people that you're about to train with, and they look at you and they think, well, I'm doing that anyway. And then when they sit on the machine and do it, they're not. They're doing it like everybody else because they've watched everybody else, and they've automatically think that's the way to do it. They've gone onto the internet to look at an exercise, and some skinny twat is fucking moving, in lycra shorts, is telling you that this is how you're doing it, and it's wrong. But unfortunately, these people are gullible, and they'll take that information back to the gym and swing around on the weights, which frustrates me. But there you go.
What I wanted to this isn't a question, but it's a story, and it's a story you told me about the Blood and Guts DVD, which is, for me, the most famous bodybuilding DVD of all time, about the back day.
Oh.
I don't know whether you're allowed to tell us about the back day and what happened with the recording of the back day.
Yeah, if you actually watch the DVD, and if you watch it carefully, when you watch the back training, you'll see that one part of the session I've got a hat on, and the other part of the session I've got a bandana on. And what happened was, halfway through the back session, Kevin Orton was the guy who filmed Blood and Guts, lovely bloke. And what he'd done the week before, he came down the week before, and he spent a week with us going through a training session. And whilst we were training, he stayed out of our way, but then he would visualize where he needs to be to film what exercise. And afterwards, we'll sit down and talk about it and say, yeah, that would be okay. And because what he didn't want to do, he didn't want to interfere with anything we'd done. And it was just a week's training session, a week. Nothing was staged, nothing was planned. Sorry, no, the workout was planned, but nothing. No, we didn't do anything different. All the exercises were as we'd done them, and he came down the week after with his camera, and he filmed every exercise. Unfortunately, whilst he was filming back, I think the battery went, or the film went out, one or the other. And he thought, fuck. But he didn't say anything. He just carried on filming us as if Anyway, and we had an awesome back session. It was, it was awesome. Anyway, after that, we sat down, we had a drink, and then we went for something to eat. Kevin, he's like, yeah, I'm right. They just film and go, yeah. And then he's like, so I need to tell you something. He says, I didn't get to film the full back. You what? He said, my battery ran out. He said, can we do it again tomorrow? Fuck off. No chance. You have to wait till next week. So he came down to, I think we was off that day, the day after, and then the day after that he came down and filmed legs, and then he had to come back the following week while we were training back. But then we had to wear, so nobody would notice, we had to wear the same clothing that we wore the day before, the session before. So you'll see at the beginning, the session that we started, and I think when it gets to the pullovers, you'll see that I've got a bandana on rather than a hat. So when he cut them, when he refilmed the session, he cut them and he spliced them together. But nobody, not even me, I didn't realise that I'd got the wrong headdress on. So,
I was about to say, did you do it intentionally? Just to see if anyone noticed.
It was for the fans, for the hardcore fans. Like when Fight Club flashed up like a willy, and only the real fans realised.
Yeah, what we should have done, we should have had it a competition that we spot the difference. But for you, I mean, I think we didn't know for 12 months. It was only when someone brought it to our attention that, why did you change your headgear halfway through the session? I've never done that. Never done that. And then when you watch it, you think, yeah.
Well, we used to just play a game. It was called "What the fuck is this guy saying?" Just I know he's saying some stuff, but I don't know. Me and my mates would watch it, and we're from Bristol, so we all talk like farmers. Well, I don't, because I'm a bit posh, but we had no fucking idea what he was saying at all. No idea.
I've been accused of being German.
Another full script of Blood and Guts.
Hey, I'm going to hold you.
Every single phrase.
I'm going to hold you to that.
And Bloodsport. Just get that in there.
Bloodsport.
These two young guys won't know what the Bloodsport is. So. Leroy knows what Bloodsport is.
I've been accused of being German as well, so people thought I was German. Is he German? He speaks German.
It's just rage. Rage is universal language. Any questions? Any other ones?
Jack?
Go on, Jack. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, so obviously yourself and Dorian are renowned for the sort of intense sessions. Has anyone ever come down, sort of minus the other members of Team Nasty, has anyone else come down and really impressed you with their intensity in the gym? Does anyone stand out for someone that really impressed you?
I've lost the picture here. Hold on. What's happened there? This is where I'm going to have to call my son now because I've lost my picture. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, hear you.
Okay. Of course there is. There's a lot of lads that have come down and try. I mean, obviously you sat with two there, Anth Bales. I mean, the very first time we trained together, even though he was carrying an injury, he didn't confess. He didn't fess up.
He didn't tell you.
He didn't fess up.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
But the way his attitude and heart, he trained just like we trained. He put the effort in, and again, it's one thing. He wanted to train like that. He wanted to improve, and if you got that attitude, you're going to put 110%. Dan's the same. I mean, Dan comes down and he trains like a grizzly bear with us. So, but saying that, we've also had lads that come down and talk a good training session. They look big, they look strong. They tell us they do. Oh yeah, we do 15 plates on the leg press, and then when you actually show them how to do a leg press, they're down to 8 plates, and they're crying about it. At the end of the day, lads, you come here. You come to. It's not about ego. You got a lot of lads and lassies who are ego trainers. They'll do it. They'll put weight on the bar, have a look around, see who's watching them, and then they'll move that bar no matter what and use any fucking movement.
We've got to set up the tripod first, and then the camera, and like adjust your camel toe, make sure it's make sure that the camera angle's directly up your anus if you're doing any deadlift moves. It's a lot of work.
A couple of leg in, leg outs, and shakes, and
yeah.
This leads me up to the next question. It was a question from somebody who I can't name. Who trained harder, Yates or Bales?
Oh,
that's close.
Yeah. Bales, because he's on.
Shall I log off?
Not going to answer it. You can't answer that one, can you?
Right, lad, can you just give us a minute? And I'll get
That's technical.
Oh, what a coincidence.
He can't answer that one.
Very discreet.
It's over.
So, guys, Leroy's left.
Leroy's got a nativity scene in the background where everyone's bench pressing. Have you seen it? I mean, I can't see it properly, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's a little nativity.
That's the one, so you've got a fly tip scene in your back.
No, mate. This is fine.
It's a shit all done.
Ellis said I'm allowed one room. I'm allowed one room.
Just dump it in. £5 a bag.
Yeah. This is the rest of the house is spotless. I'm allowed one room, my office.
I have seen it at your house, and it is very nice. I will see that, but that room, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Probably a few pigs and a few lambs in there.
I got my technical engineer with me at the moment. He's just sorting stuff out for me.
What a guy.
Okay. What ends so back to that question, who trained hardest?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were throwing that one.
I know I'm going to jump in now. I mean, obviously, Doz has the easy way of training, and to be honest, the sort of attitude he had and the intensity he trained with was groundbreaking for anybody that would sit down and try and understand it. And in the sort of mid to late 90s. You had a lot of professional bodybuilders who thought they trained hard. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. You had a lot of professional bodybuilders, and some of these guys stood on the stage who thought they trained hard. A lot of them were gifted. A lot of them had real good genetics, and to be honest, if they trained like Dorian trained, then a lot of them results, they would give Dorian a good run for his money, a real good run for his money. But their attitude and their way of training it sort of held them back. Even though some of them, they really piss you off. Some of them would just look at a weight and start to grow, but they never had that dense granite look muscle.
Well, Chris Cormier didn't fare that well, did he?
Say again.
Chris Cormier didn't fare that well that time, did he?
Chris Cormier.
Yeah, sorry, I said it wrong.
What?
Well, when he turned up and threw up all outside the gym.
Oh, when he done legs.
Yeah, he did legs.
Yeah, well, I say that we were not. I mean, I was privileged to train with some of these guys, and they would look at you as if you were, while you were sat doing your set, they would look at you and as if you're fucking an alien or something. What are they doing? And their attitude. A lot of their attitudes was after the Olympia, they would go away and have a vacation, take 2-3 months off. So in reality, what they'd built over the 8 or 9 months, they would sort of lose most of that in then 3 months off. And then they'd look at their watch and they'd say, oh, fucking hell, I've got to compete soon. I'll start training again. So they'd have to literally start from where they left off and start. So that's why time after, they'd make the odd little improvement, but a lot of the time, them lads would turn up 2 or 3 years on the trot and look exactly the same, and that's because of their methodology of how they train and when they trained. And then when Blood and Guts came out, they sort of, at first said, "Oh, it stays. They don't really train like that." And a couple of them came over and they trained down in the dungeon. And we also went over there and trained with a few as well. But obviously, when you're in somebody else's gym, you never train because of where you are, unless you're there for a good time or you know that gym inside out. You never train 100% anyway. So we weren't even training at our full potential, at full belt, and we were still killing them. And then when we sat there, we sat down in the firehouse once having a meal with big poor Dilly and Chris Cormier and Flex and that. And then when they told us that, oh yeah, we're 3 months off after, I think, fucking hell, what do you do? They could not believe that the day after the Olympia, Dorian would fly home and he's back in the gym, back to business. They couldn't believe that. And it was NASA Al-Sambati and Milos, who suddenly, I remember they gave each other a look and says, that's what we got to fucking do. You know what I mean? And that's when things started to change. That's when you started to see NASA get bigger and better. And what's his name? Not Flex, the Kevin Leroy. You know, he started pulling his finger out. So that sort of Dozzy's sort of mentality to training was a massive education to the guys. However, over here you got most of you guys who were sort of around and know about the 90s and that. A lot of you guys have adapted that attitude anyway by watching Blood and Guts and watching. They all started. It sort of started a trend because then all the lads started to bring their own training videos out. Okay, and some of them were fucking just too glamorous to believe, and some of them were lads training. So you've seen the lads whose attitude had changed and were training to win, not just to turn up, but training to win. Whereas over here, we the British have got this attitude. A lot, you know, and I'm glad to be around a lot of you guys that have this attitude where if you're going to do something, fucking do it right first time. RFT, right first time. Do it right, but don't do it at all. And as I say, I've had the privilege to train with Anth, with Dan, with a lot of lads that have come with that attitude. You don't have to install it in them, or you don't have to try and install it with them, and they want to finish the set. They want to finish this. They want to finish the session, and it's great. You know, I've walked around. Am's done fucking many battles with us, you know, and I just love training with him. I love training with Dan because they make me feel like I'm back in the night. You know what I mean? I'm back in them days, back in them gyms, and to be honest, it fucking keeps me young. But on the opposite side, as I said, we've had lads come down who really talk a good training session, and a lot of them have been honest. They've come up afterwards, or even halfway through the session, said, "Listen, this ain't for me. I can't do this 4 or 5 times a week. I can't put my body through this 4 times." And that, you know, that's great. You know, they're being honest, but they're never going to take themselves to that next level, are they? They're never going to get there. Doesn't matter how many fucking gurus they got around them, or nutritionists, or coaches. If they haven't got it up there, you're not going to get them there. End of. So going back to the question, who trained the art? I think they're all on the same level.
Well, that question came from Anth, so
yeah, that was a joke.
It's been a privilege just to train with these lads. It really has. It's great. I love it.
Well, I'm going to put that on my gravestone.
Good man. Good man. And I'll put one more on there as well.
Yeah, one more.
You ain't dead yet.
One of the questions that I got, which is kind of what we've covered already, but obviously when people want to put the high intensity, like sorry, my rubber pip's collapsing.
Alive? What's coming alive? Is that Hoover?
So it's not the flagship stuff.
Yeah, they're just more. Just as a chute, it just comes down. Because obviously intensity and volume has like a negative correlation. Like, you know, as volume goes up, like intensity decreases. So the question is about what are the most common mistakes when you see someone try and implement like HIIT training, or some of the most common misconceptions?
Again, that's a good question. I mean, high intensity training is one is down to the individual. The individual's got to know where their tolerance ends, where their pain threshold ends, where their muscle fails. They've got to know that. But also, your training partner has a massive, massive important role to play there, because your training partner, just by the feel, will know when the muscle's failing. Don't forget, if you're doing your set, your mind will fail way before your muscle. And this is where your training partner comes in, because he can feel. He knows when your muscles are failing. He knows what you got left in that tank. He can feel it. So he'll take you through that. So he's the person that should know where the intensity stops and starts. He's the person that knows when he can add another false rep or a negative rep. You know what I mean? And you'll see people who actually take their partners through it, but are literally they're just not doing it right. You know, they just pull the weight up, let it go, the weight would drop. It's not. I wouldn't say it's an art, and it's not a skill. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science to bring a weight up with the right intensity, communicate with your partner, and say, right, yours, and then let him bring it down under ease. Do the same again. Ease. And again, you as the person doing the set, you'll think you finished a lot sooner than you really have finished. Okay, but eventually you will train your mind also to know and to push it beyond that. And that's where Amf and Dan come in, because they've done that already. They know when they want more reps. They know when they can be pushed further and beyond the threshold. And that's just being honest. That's being honest with your partner, but your partner also needs to be honest. You shout one more, and your partner knows you haven't got one more in there. In other words, he's going to do 90% of the work. Then he's got to say, no, next set, save it. So the intensity comes from both you and your partner. And
I think it comes to that again, like finding a training partner that gives a fuck about your progression as much as their own.
Yeah.
And that shit doesn't come around like very often.
Finding a good training partner nowadays is hard. One, because you got to have the same goals. You really have to have the same goals, you know, and your partner's there, your training partner's there to push you, but he's also there for safety as well. You know, it's so easy to hurt yourself and cause an injury in the gym. Sometimes you get a bit hyped up, and you really think you can push a bit more than you can actually push. You know, but that's where your partner comes in and says, hold on, you pushed so many kilos last week. You're trying to add 20 kilos onto that this week. That's not going to happen. You know, your partner's got to pull you back. So honesty plays a massive part in you getting them last reps out. But you've got to be honest with yourself. You understand?
Yeah, I had this conversation the other day. What Dan just said there about your training partner actually giving a shit. Now nowadays, somebody could be on the bench, and their training partner is giving them a spot. But you know what they're doing? They're just doing this.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. Yeah, give us one more. They're not even like looking at the thing. They're just like, yeah, okay. One more, yeah, okay. Because they do all your sayings as well, Leroy. They do that.
Yeah.
Drive it up. Come on, drive it up. Drive it up. Hold on. One. Right, okay. And then they're just not fucking interested. When it's their set, they do that. And the training partner generally does the same. Yeah. They're like the Leroy Davis sayings. And everybody thinks Leroy just shouts at you and does all this shit. It's not. He's a smart guy, like you just said there. He knows when he can give you another one. He knows when it's time to, hey, drop it dead, that's it, finish type of thing. It's not all about just shouting at each other and whatever. I've learned a lot from Leroy over the years. So,
but also you feel safe. You can actually just be a robot. Just follow the direction and just fucking do it. Turn off. Like he's got you. And finding a training partner.
You got to have confidence. If you haven't got confidence in your partner, then you don't go that way. You don't do it. And as I said earlier, finding the right part, it is fucking hard. And you find when you do find a good guy, fucking he lives the other side of England. you know, or he's a farmer, you know. It's hard. It's hard to get together.
I think nowadays it's very cool to like train with loads of different people. I mean, we hook up whenever we can and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate enough to have Davey train with him like 10 plus years solid. Now it's like, I'll train with like Steve this week and like John the next week, and like, everybody kind of dots around, and I don't know, you got to learn each other's.
Yeah,
it takes time to learn each other's habits and to read each other. But there again, if you're training on a regular basis, it comes about. But if you don't trust, if you don't trust that person, then you don't want them spotting you. You don't want them near you, because if something goes wrong and they're not concentrating, it's going to impact on you.
What if somebody trains with 3 different people in a month because their training partners keep quitting? I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens. Until you find Mr. or Mrs. Right, then that's what happens. If they can't take it, mate, you don't want them. You don't want them there. If you're fucking busting and breaking them, then you don't want them there. End of.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because it will impact on yourself. And as I say, I mean, I know for a fact that if I drive up north to Am's gym and we train together, I know I can trust him 110%, and vice versa. You know, I'm there for him and he's there for me. I'm not saying you wouldn't be, but I know I can check certain risks, and he knows if he can put another plate on. If we're sat on the leg press and I put 10 plates on, he'll know if he can put another plate on top of that for me. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
he knows that. Same as Dan. Dan's the same. You build up a trust. You might not be in each other's gyms every night, and that's a good thing. But if you do manage to find somebody that trains at your gym, trains at your time, and you both got the same goals and attitude, then you link up and you try and hold on to each other. You know, you try and keep each other. But it is hard. It's so hard.
I have had training partners that aren't bodybuilders, that aren't like strong, but actually were like on my side. A guy called Alex Khatib, who lives in Dubai at the moment, but he was so like on me and like wanting it that like it didn't matter that we weren't doing the same thing. And he was really good at spotting and stuff like that. And I've had a few good ones over the times, but yeah, I find it doesn't necessarily even need to be like the closeness of strength or anything. They just need to, like I said, most of the training partners, they're thinking about carb backloading and like what like is going on, and like just fucking, you know, like dairy dunkers and all that sort of shit. And it's just like, you know, like people who has the concept of having the phone like in the gym. I don't understand. Like, I can't even remember to drink a fucking intra workout. Like sometimes I will. I can't rely on it because I'm like fucking in. Like, so like the idea of like, do you know, like having someone that's the whole point of going to the gym for me is to shut the fucking world out, not bring the world into the gym with me via some fucking weird video feed.
I feel like Jack feels a little bit attacked right now.
Yeah, that's because Jack loves a tripod.
Me every week. It doesn't matter. I'm used to
a tripod and a reach round. Yeah, but Jack's 11. He probably didn't even know like who Leroy was until about 10 minutes ago.
Honestly, as long as your trainer partner is in your corner, like that's all you need. It's a lot of guys who just don't really give a fuck. They're just not even concentrating on what you're doing.
Yeah, you're right though, Dan. You can train with lads that are nowhere near your size or strength, but you know, as Anne says, they're in your corner and they're there for you. And the good thing about having someone that, you know, if you're stronger than them, they'll want to try. They'll push out because they'll want to catch up.
Yeah.
Your game is to stay ahead of them. So there's a bit of a good bit of.
Yeah, would be the double whammy. Yeah. I do have a training part at the moment, Lewis. So big up to Lewis. I know they'll be sad if I don't mention him. So big up to Lewis.
Hi, Lewis. Kick his ass.
Yeah. Any more questions? I could fucking do this all night, to be honest.
Yeah, I got a few good, but I got one for Anth.
Fucking Alf, we've had him on 9 times.
Yeah, I'm sick of this shit now, man. Fuck.
I've got 2, but I will start with this one. It's the funniest thing you've done while on prep.
The funniest thing?
Yeah.
Shit.
I know nothing at all.
Really open-ended question. Yeah, that's quite funniest thing. Really, off the top of my head, I can't. I've done stupid shit like, fucking like you want to like put your food in the microwave and you put it in the freezer, and like because you're so tired, and then you go to the microwave and you're like, shit, where's my food? Or I've meant to put a meal in the microwave to heat it up, and like stuck it on, and there's no meal in there, and nearly blew the place up. Just when your mind's not kind of there. But nah, I can't even think of any stupid things. Yes, but nothing particularly funny, to be honest.
That's pretty funny. I did put a TV remote in the fridge at one point.
Yeah, sometimes when you die, man, you know what the fuck you're doing. It's like I've tried to open my house with like car keys and shit, and like, well, fucking doors are open. Well, I've tried. This is what I've tried to actually. There was a similar car to mine, so I'm like pressing the phone, and I'm like, fuck, so obviously you're tired, and you're sick of shit, and you're fucking not working. I start kicking my car wheel, and it wasn't my car. Like, what the fuck are you doing with my car? I was like, oh, sorry, man. I thought it was my car, and it wasn't going to open. Yeah, that's contest prep head.
I did try and put the key in my front door, but I didn't realise Alice was in, so she put the key in the other side. So I thought it just wasn't fit, and then I ripped the whole handle off the door. That was expensive. It was a bifold door, so yeah. I didn't get spoken. I was already not speaking to her anyway because I was on prep, and that carried that one off.
Double not speaking to.
You have to not speak to your partner for a month. That's what we do. I got that the other way around. Alice did a prep like recently, and I just said to her, "We don't talk anymore. That's it. That's it's over."
I've got one for Leroy. Actually, this is a competitive one. So, because like you said, we all know Dorian had some years that he wasn't at his best. And I'm a massive Dorian Yates fan. We'll get that from the start. I'll like nobody mattered when I was like a young guy. Everyone else was shit. Like Dorian Yates was the man. He won everything. Like Sean Ray used to bang his gums a little bit. Like that guy's shit. Is that guy shit? That guy's shit. The Dorian Yates posters on the wall. But now, obviously, I'm a little bit more mature, I hope. And looking back, there maybe was some years that he came very close to being uncrowned. So, obviously, I'm guessing you were there for pretty much all of them, Leroy. Was there any year you thought, like, shit, this might go like another way here, type of thing?
Yeah, he tore his tricep a few weeks out from the
97, wasn't it? Yeah.
97, yeah. And you know, when you sat there in the audience, and you know what's happened over the last 12 months and how much work's gone into this, and your bum's twitch. My bum was twitching because Kevin Leroy looked fucking good. NASA looked good. It was close. It was very, very close. And
yeah, if I had to pick one, I think it probably would have been 97, where NASA was very close. Unfortunately for Dawes, NASA didn't have the best back, did he? So,
yeah, once NASA turned round, you could see his weakness massively. However, because he'd listened, he'd gone back the year before and he'd improved so much. A lot of them had. They had improved so much. So, you know, the way Dorian trained had started to sink in. You know, it's not just 8 months a year. It's not just eat what you want when you want. It's a job. It's a full-time job. And if you want to be at the top of the tree, you know, you've got to work. You've got to work at it. And they sort of took that on board. And you've seen that in 97. And then obviously after that, you've seen it as well. So, but yeah, that was the year that he could have gone tits up, and but it never. The judges picked us, so he stayed top of the tree.
Well, when you're at the top as well, someone can't be the same as you. They have to be better. It's like,
yeah, of course they have. In every angle, yeah. To be Mr. Olympia, you've got to be untouchable. Over the last year, I've sort of lost it. I've got to be honest. I've lost interest over the last few years of the, especially the open class. The 212. I like keeping in touch with that. But you gotta look like you've tried. I mean, you fucking see the same physiques over and over again. You know, and you see the likes of Ramy come on. So Ramy's he's a beast, and he's a monster. He's a walking monster. If he could get his last 2 or 3 weeks right, can you imagine what it looked like if he could get it fucking right on the day? Because by rights, he should be a lot. He should be Mr. He should have been Mr. Phil Heath. Don't get me wrong. He's an incredible bodybuilder. He's got an incredible physique, and the first year he competed, I'd said he should have won the Olympia. He won it the year after. He was a year out. But he's just got genetics. Phil, he's had, you know, he's been gifted. He's got full bellies. His muscle density is good. And if you've seen the way he trained, he's one of them guys that just looks at a weight and starts to build. But could you imagine what he looked like if he spent 12 months over in Amsterdam? Imagine what it looked like if Amsterdam took him under his wing. Imagine what Ramy would look like if he came over, spent 12. They mind fucking over in that other gym. What's the other gym called? Fucking
Oxygen.
Yeah, fuck Oxygen. Get him over here. Get him over here. Train properly.
Well, I think in Oxygen though, they have little courier services, and they drop food in their mouth when they're asleep and like drive them places, and someone racks their weights for them and tells them how great they are all the time. It was like a bit like when the guy from Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, employed a little Chinese lady to follow him around and tell him he was great all the time. Just like that.
Let's not get into the blowing smoke up people's asses. Leroy loves that one.
Yeah,
he's awesome now. Yeah, you look awesome, man. You're not doing your friend any favors, are you, by telling them they look awesome and they look like shit?
I did get a compliment off Ant once.
That was back in 87.
Yeah.
Summer of 87.
Yeah.
Hey, you always get a fucking man hug at the end, man. I always say the same. Hate me now, thank me later. So
yeah, as I said earlier, you've got to be honest, and if you can't take criticism, you know, and again, if you the person that's giving you trust, if you trust and know that person who's giving you that criticism, then you've got to take it.
Yeah, definitely. We had a similar situation in the group a few weeks ago.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, and if you see your partner going through shit and hell, and you think blowing smoke up his arse or her arse is going to help him along, you're going to do more damage. You've got to be honest with him. Yeah. You know, brutal. Like Am says, fucking hate him now, love him later. So be honest. As long as he's constructive, you know, don't just bring him down.
Yeah, I would never shoot somebody down. But I think if you're just too nice all the time, I get concerned that people slack off.
Yeah, of course they will.
Yeah. Also, how do you know when it's real? If someone tells you great all the time, how do you know when you're actually great?
Exactly.
Oh, you're really great now. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have lots of young guys who will message me and say, like, you know, what do you think I should compete? And I would never say, mate, you look like shit, get some more muscle, don't compete. I would say like something like Leroy just said there, like back it up with some constructive things, like, yeah, maybe you need a bit more tissue, but you've got a nice structure. You know, work on that.
The shit sandwich.
Yeah. You don't just say like, you shit. Like, don't compete, get your crap.
Yeah.
But you have to tell people now, because honestly, I get guys message me, they literally don't like the beat of the gym. Like, literally, like, I had more muscle before I even trained, but they've got like the trunks on and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it's tough, because you don't want to, like, obviously we need to see the younger guys coming up, but if you're doing a bodybuilding contest, you should look like a bodybuilder. You should like have some muscle tissue. And again, I'll give them the honest answer, but I'll back it up with something positive. Like, you know, it's great that you want to compete, and you know you got a nice shape. You know, stick with it, but just leave it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say a nice haircut. But just again, wait a little bit till you've got to. I've said this before loads of times. If I was going to be a 100-meter sprinter, I would have to be able to run fast. I wouldn't just turn up and say, all right, let's have a look at this.
It's weird how the first thing Ant said when he came on the call was, nice haircut, Dan.
It's beautiful.
Was it check-in day?
He shaved the Lego head off from last time, didn't he?
I know. It was after you set out a fucking Lego helmet.
I'm going to get someone who's good on Photoshop. I'm going to make a Dan McNabb with Lego, man. You know what's coming, man. It's good on your Christmas card.
That works as well because they don't have legs. So
Fucking hell.
Fucking someone's chirped up.
Jesus Christ.
I had to get you back from the little digs throughout the whole podcast.
Oh, fuck off.
Just heard some shots fired there. How's he?
Are you getting locked down again, Jack? Are we getting locked down?
Does Jack train legs twice a week? Is that what we were talking about earlier? Or does he do quads and halves?
He did have a dig at that as well, yeah. But no, I don't know. Are we getting shut down in Wales? I'm not sure.
On the 28th, yeah.
All right then, Jack. You and
So
me.
am I banned from Trojan?
You're invited. You and me. We'll see who's a fucking daddy, Mr. Natty.
Dan, have you got 6 hours?
No, he's doing it my way, or he can fuck right off.
Yeah, Leroy, this gentleman trains for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Come for a session with Davis and see how long
What can I say?
train for.
What can I say? But again, you know, it seems to be fashion. I go into a gym and you got a gang of lads train chest, and I do a chest and a bicep workout, and they're still fucking training chest, and they've been in there now before I got there, and then they look in the mirror and I see more meat on a butcher's apron, and then 6 months later they still look the same, and they wonder why. Fucking why am I not going? I'm training so hard. You know, all you do is you might as well run a marathon. Yeah. And this is where like criticism comes. This is where your friends have got to be honest with you. You know, if you haven't got honest friends around you, then you don't need them. And why am I not growing? Because you're training here 6 hours a day. Fuck off, go home, get a life. You know, take up something else. You're never going to gain. Come on, be honest. You're never going to gain. What are you going to do? It's like having friends. You go and have your lips injected, look like a fucking fish, and your friends say, "Oh, you look pretty." You know, they're blowing smoke up your ass. You don't look pretty. You look like a fucking fish.
Oh, that's Dan cancelling his Botox next week.
Oh God,
Because he's got his sexy beard
If you're training more than an hour and 15 minutes, and that's including the warm up, then your body's just got to react to that.
He's got no words for you, Jack.
Half on leg day, maybe he's 90 minutes on leg day.
Yeah, maybe 90 minutes. Come on, Jack. Come on, we'll do it. We'll put it in the diary.
Should we get Jack on a Team Nasty one?
Oh,
yeah. Train, it all reflects.
I'll need to get myself sorted before Dan, yeah.
Yeah, need to have some mental preparation.
I'm preparing already.
Good man. Don't take it personal, Jack. Get a life.
Should we get me, Dan? Even though I'm fault the pieces I posed to train, but we'll get me, Dan, Jack, and
back in the day, we'd call you a gym rat. You'd be a gym rat, you would be.
Don't take it personally, Jack, but get a life.
I love that one.
Nah, you're all right, mate. Everyone to their own.
Brilliant.
Are we any more for any more?
I did have one.
Well, I've got one, but it just says, how many crayons can you fit up your bum?
How many done?
All of them is the answer.
Except the red ones, because he likes the red ones, so he eats the ones.
Can eat the red ones. God, some of these are shit. How can I get massive?
Easy. 6 hours in the gym.
Yeah.
6.5.
Secret.
I need food.
I've got one for Anthony. I've got one for Dan.
Shit.
Like our sessions together. What's the most memorable session you've had? And who with?
I'll let Dan go first.
You've got to answer that one tactically.
No, you don't have to listen. You don't have to.
Well, my most memorable session is definitely the one where I was 2 weeks out at Emporium.
Yeah, I knew that was coming because you looked like hell.
It was ingrained in emotion. It was a time of, it was so close to the show. I probably should have been easing off a little bit. And for some fucking reason, I decided that the best way to ease off was to go and see these two mad fuckers and have my soul smashed out. That will be with me forever.
The most
100%.
memorable or the hardest session?
Oh, but a bit of both. Bit of both then. Bit of both.
The most memorable one is obviously the first one when I was a turd and I didn't tell you I had an injury. Because as I said earlier, like Leroy, everybody thinks Leroy just screams at you and shouts at you and like, oh, that's whatever. But before the session, it was the first time I met Leroy. Loads of people heard this story, but I'll take it again quickly. So the first time I met Leroy to train at Temple, we were doing a video shoot for muscle development. 2 weeks prior, I'd done some squats with about 5 or 6 plates, and my left leg had like a ripping sensation in it. Fortunately, it wasn't a quad tear; it was just the IT band giving way or something. So then I get a phone call saying, "Listen, do you want to train with Leroy?" And I was like, "Well, you know, is that a trick question type of thing?" Obviously, I've watched Blood and Cuts like 50,000 times. And I said to my therapist, like, "Listen, do you think I can train?" She was like, "Yes, as long as you take it easy." So, like before the session, he was like, "If you got any injuries?" I was like, "No, I'm fine," because I was not going to not train. I didn't care. I was like, my leg fell off. So we started on the flex leg extension. I remember the flex leg. That was a brilliant piece of kit. And the leg felt a bit tight. And we did the Cybex leg press. Everybody knows about the Cybex leg press. That's why I actually got that machine, because it was in Blood and Guts. And again, I just used it less weight. I wasn't trying to be a cock. You know, I wasn't trying to feed the ego. I did less weight than I usually do. And I felt the left leg go hot and the tearing sensation again. So that was when I said to Leroy, you know, listen, there's something wrong with the leg. I'm probably going to... But I thought it was the IT band again. So I remember I did the hack squats light. I couldn't go heavy on them. We trained hamstrings heavy, calves heavy. And then as I was walking home, the leg just started to just give way and it felt like jelly. And it turns out that I tore the vastus lateralis in the leg. So yeah, the first session was the most memorable because I tore the quad. But probably the hardest one was the Strength Asylum one. Can you remember we did the YouTube, live YouTube? Because I had like no sleep. I think it was like, what was it? I can't even remember. I was supposed to compete and obviously I didn't compete in the end. No, was I? I can't even remember now. For some reason, I had no fucking sleep. Andy forgot to pick us up from the hotel. I got to the venue. The gym. I had a hypoglycemia because I'm diabetic. I had a hypo. I didn't know what I was doing. James Grealish was sticking a headphone set on me and didn't know what the fuck was going on. When we started training leg, obviously we did the seminar, we did the leg thing. Like there was lots of people around, wasn't there, and stuff. And if you remember, there's that horrible leg extension video online somewhere where I just like I want to die. We do like a drop set on there. That day for some reason was fucking horrible, man. I had no sleep, no food. Had about 10 hypos that day. And we had to do the seminar, and it was just it was good, but it was horrible that day.
It was
that was like I really felt the session. I felt like I was I'm not even going to finish here, but we got through it in the end.
It's amazing what you can find extra, and that's what I say when you go and you know, I'm fucking nobody, but when someone comes and trains with me, I can usually raise the bar, and they go, "Oh, I didn't realize I had that."
Yeah,
like a little bit extra. But you go and train with someone like Leroy, who you've like probably like seen more than your dad because you've like played fucking Blood and Guts so many times. And Leroy says one more, you've fucking got one more. You have, you know, and you go, fucking, I didn't know I had one more. I thought I really didn't. But fucking Leroy starts going, run, and then you're like, suddenly there's 3 more. So like,
there's 10 one mores.
There's 10 one mores, but just readjusting like where like you are. And actually, I like to go and see Amph and Leroy if we can like arrange it to like recalibrate. Do you know what I mean? I think that needs
we all need to kick up the arse sometimes.
Yeah, like a refresh just to make sure. Okay, I'm still doing it, or you know, I've been slacking a little touch and that. Like it's always good to go and have a refresh. I did have someone in my come to PT and he went, well, you know, I haven't been doing as much PT because it's really hard.
It's supposed to be hard, man.
I was like, what? Because so you know, I think that's why I haven't been doing as much. And I was like, okay, I think just never come again.
I'll let Leroy explain the one more thing because there's a tactic behind that.
Oh yeah.
Because everybody says that to me. Oh, you said one more, but we did another 5. There's like there's a tactic behind that.
Yeah, there is, because it's like when you're training hard, you're training well, and you got sort of an inexperienced training partner with you. You know, who's trying, they're trying, and you know, you're training hard. You're halfway through your set or 3/4 way through your set, and it's starting to kick in now. It's starting to kick in. What you don't want to hear is, "Come on, 5 more." You don't want to hear that, do you? Because you turn around and throw the fucking bar with them, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So the sort of methodology or the method behind it is, if you're pushing yourself and you got a partner pushing you and you hear 1 more, your mind tells you, come on, 1 more, 100% in this last set, like this last rep. So you'll do that. And then you'll hear 1 more. And you'll think, right, you want me to do 1 more? I'll do 1 more. And then you might get a third 1 more, you know. And again, that's mind over matter. If you want it, you'll do it. If you don't want it, you won't do it. However, your partner will make you do it. If your partner switched on, knows what they're doing, they will make you do it. So yeah, so this is what I meant about your mind failing before your muscle. Your mind failed 3 reps ago, yet your muscles still had 3 reps. And you know they've got 3 reps, but you're fighting your muscle and your mind. Your partner is only fighting you, and your partner will get them reps out of you. Yeah, and again, use common sense. If you know for a fact, or you feel that he can only get 2 out or even 1 out, then that's what you do. What you don't do is force them to do another 3, and in reality, only 1 of them reps were effective. So there's a bit of science behind it, not much, but there's also a bit of methodology about it. And it's better to hear 1 more than 5 more or 3 more.
I remember the timing of it being like very important when I first heard it, because I'm like, fucking hell, I'm done. I do 1, and then I just got to the point, and then I'm coming down, and then it's 1 more, and it's like, well, actually, like, I did do the last one. So I probably, and then so you're like back in, there's like 1 more, and it's like, well, I wasn't, I did do it. Like, it's like the timing of it for it's like,
you've got to catch them before they actually finish the rep.
Yeah.
In anything, you've got to catch them. If as they get to the top and squeeze, just as a break, 1 more. If you get them down there and you say 1 more, you've got to work. You've got to work to get them first 3 inches to get the weight moving again. But if you catch them just as they break to come back down, then they know they'll do it. They'll do it. You might have to give them a hand with the last 2 inches, but they'll get the first, which is an important part of the rep, the first part. So yeah.
And you see how that conversation went there? You didn't say like, well, I was on my phone and I wasn't watching. So there's like, this is what I say about you. When you do a set with you, I know that you're in that set with me. Like, just watching and just don't say it now.
No, but this is gold. Now, this is like the science of being a perfect spot. So.
Yeah, Leroy's a perfect spot.
Yeah,
like, he literally feels like you're going to fucking crush yourself. Then he goes out with his fingers like...
It's not rocket science.
I used to be scared to spot Leroy because I didn't get it right. I was like, fuck. Too much, like, fuck.
If you have to use, again, this is you as a partner being a bit selfish. Okay, if you're spotting a bar, if you have to use more than your 2 fingers to keep that weight, your job is to keep that weight moving. Yeah, that's your job. While you're spotting, your job is to make sure that weight moves. Okay, if you have to grab hold of that bar and pull it up, don't you fucking dare say 1 more, because you haven't got 1 more. Because once you let that bar go, it's going to go down, and you've got to pull it up. That's taking energy away from you. So when you have to do your set, straight away you're depleted. You've lost energy. You're going to lose 1 or 2 reps. And that's where the selfishness comes in. So as well as being a perfect spotter, you're also being a bit selfish. You don't want to overwork. You don't want to exert yourself. You move in these ways. You see these twats who get put a 20 plate on the bar, yeah, and they lie down on the bench and they get 4 reps. And then the partner gives them another 6 reps. Come on. Put it back on the rack. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Now, us being sensible, if we thought we could do a bit more, we'd probably put 2.5 kilos or 5 kilos either side, wouldn't we? Not them twats. Yeah. They put another plate on. And what they're not realising is that's a plate. That's 40 kilos. Who the fuck jumps 40 kilos? You can do it on your legs.
I saw a hilarious one this week. It was a new one for me. I'm like, 15, 16 years in with my training. and there was this boy deadlifting, and I've never seen somebody spot someone else on a deadlift. But this guy was stood behind him.
Was he on his back?
He was behind him like a koala and hugged him. And as he started to fail, he sat him up like this.
Yeah, he's just want to get frisky. That's not indoor sport.
Yeah, I think there's a different method in his madness there. I think.
You're in the toilets after that.
but seriously, lads, there's also a sort of another part of this is you as the guy pushing the weight. Okay, you want to get another rep out and all that. The most annoying thing for me, well, what used to be, not so much now, but used to be, is if you're pushing and you get to a struggle point where you know your partner's got to come and just give it the slightest push, but then they just grab hold of the bar and pull it up. Yeah. So you've lost. To me, that's fucked my setup. You know what I mean? That's fucked the setup. I've got to wait a whole week now for that set to come round again. That's frustrating to me. You know, and that's where you jump up and they go, good set. No, they don't know any difference. You know what I mean? They don't know. So okay. No, thanks.
Oh, that's where I go train by myself, and I'm like, yeah, fuck that, I'm out.
Yeah, it's my fault for asking you to spot me because they didn't know any better. But you'll see that all the time. You'll see people, yeah, that was good. Yeah, put some more on, and they put another 20 on, and then this guy thinks he's benching. Your man's doing bench over rowing, and instead of just letting the water go, fuck that, it's too heavy for you. They blow smoke up their arse. And that's a massive misconception in the gyms, and it's all part of the ego training and who's watching, and you got a gang of 6 lads all trying to outdo each other. They're there for recreation, really. They're not there to train and build muscle. They're there for recreation. I mean, that's the way they want to play. Let them play like that. The sad thing is you've got other people who are new beginners who are looking around in the gym and they're watching that and they think that's the way to do it. They think they're going to get results from that, which it's sad, but they're not. Boom.
Well, I mean, but the other question that I got basically was, I don't know how in tune you are with, like, how heavily people are using, like, steroids, like the doses, and the age in which people are starting to use them and stuff. I don't know how much you know about it, like, nowadays. Amp's crying for some reason.
No, it's just been a long day, Dan. Sorry.
I've got to be honest.
Just look at your pretty face.
What I know about the
well,
gear
compared
nowadays,
with how was it in
I'll tell you, back in our day, this is sort of a positive for us and a negative for you, because back in our day we knew that the gear we were getting, 99% of it was good gear. We knew that. And we kept it simple. Our dosages weren't, no matter, regardless of what you guys think or the rumors sort of sped around, and our dosages were nowhere near what you hear people taking today. And the only reason the people are still walking around today is because what they're taking ain't fucking shit gear anyway. Whatever they're pumping into themselves is shit. We kept it simple. We kept our dosages simple. We never complicated it. Towards the end, when growth hormone came in, and I mean that was towards the end, 96, 97, whatever. I mean, I've got to be honest, I've never touched growth at all, never bothered with it. I didn't need it. I wasn't going to be competing on the professional stage, so I didn't bother. Then there was the insulin. That sort of came in, and certain lads were sort of experimenting with that. So that's when it's towards the end of the 90s is when sort of things started to get serious, and the new stuff, the growth and the insulin and all that, and the combination started to come in. But again, you knew what you get, what you were asking for, you were getting. Nowadays, it's not. I don't think it's that. I ain't got a clue. If someone comes and asks me, I'm honest with them. I say, listen, mate, what I know about the gear nowadays, you can put on the back of a stamp. I don't know. I ain't got a clue. I don't. I know I couldn't advise you, because the stuff that I'd mentioned, I think, what the fuck's that? Travelon. What's that? Deca. I don't even know that if people still use that. So, but again, things have progressed. over the years, and good stuff. You know, it's good gear has come out, and it's whether you can get hold of it. And my sort of advice would be, if you're going to go that way, there's use and there's abuse. You got to know how to use it, okay, and you've got to use it in the quantities that's been explained to you. Unfortunately, a lot of the sort of beginners nowadays, if you tell them, you know, take one, they're going to take three, aren't they? They're going to, oh, he's fucking lying. Oh, I'll take three. He wants to hold me back. He doesn't want me to get big. So they'll take three. So, you know, I was amazed. Probably about 6 months ago when I was talking to this lad, and he just started speaking. You know, I mean, that's why I try not to make eye contact with people in the gym. I go there to train. I don't want a conversation. And unfortunately, I was at the counter and made eye contact with this lad, and within a millisecond, he'd fucking told me his life story and what he was on and how many and what he was taking. And I fucking, it'd kill an elephant. What he was taking would kill an elephant. But he was still standing there. And who told you to do that? Who's told you to fucking take that? And my advice to him was, listen, mate, have a good look at the person who's supplying you with this stuff and ask yourself 3 questions. One is, what's he getting out of it? What's he getting out of it? 2 is, what's his pedigree? You know, is he a bodybuilder himself? Does he take that gear? Yeah. And the 3rd thing is, what are you going to get out of it? Ask yourself them 3 questions and tell me, you know, see if it's worth it. But unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, as soon as they walk out away from you, they'll do it anyway. You know what I mean? Because they think there's a shortcut. They think the more you take, the easier, the quicker it's going to be. They want the 6-pack straight away. They don't want to work for it. A lot of them don't want to work for it. So it's, and again, it's like the media. They think that everyone thinks there's a shortcut. If they do an exercise this way, they're going to get rear delts, or you know, if they do 3,000 sit-ups a day, they're going to get abs. It doesn't work that way. So, but unfortunately, a lot of them you can talk to them or you can advise them until you're blue in the face. But they're only going to turn around and do what they want to do or what somebody else tells them anyway.
Yeah, all the ones who are still working in mills.
Yeah, that's
1 mil of this.
Yeah, well, that's what I'll say. Yeah, take 1 mil. 1 mil? Yeah, a mil. What's that?
The sensible way is not the cool way, though, is it? So that's why.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
In Wales, I think it comes with the gym starter pack.
Comes with the
I've had people who've actually started taking anabolics before they even started training. They say, "Oh, yeah, I'm just getting some gear. I'm starting training next week." I'm like, "You should really be training first." I might eat some protein.
Yeah, but Anth, what do you know? What do you know?
I've actually heard of somebody taking it who didn't train and then wondered why they just fucked themselves up.
To be honest, in the late 90s, when this growth came out, a lot of the sort of film stars and all that were taking it because they believed, or it was rumored, that it keeps you young, it makes you look young and whatever. So a lot of sort of high profile actors and were using it. Fuck knows why. They all turned ugly anyway.
It didn't work.
So probably we've taken up enough of your time. What we usually do at the end is ask for like 5 top tips. If you were, to give to someone, they don't even have to be bodybuilding related. Most of the ones that we get are absolute bollocks, actually. So it doesn't really matter. And if you don't get 5, no one really minds.
5 top tips.
Top tips.
In bodybuilding. Okay, 5
Anything.
top tips.
Can be anything. Just
okay.
Can one of them be you shouting, "Let's get nasty"?
Listen, we'll all gang up on Leroy here quickly because I've been trying for about 10 years to get him to do a soundboard.
Oh, has to.
I get people, I message him, "Oh, I'm listening to you, Leroy, my ears on 100% nasty. Can you get him to do some recording?" And I'm like, I've asked him like 100 times, so bombard him, guys.
Mate, I've got all the equipment. Next time, it's happening.
Or just do us an intro now. You're listening to Bash Bros. Let's get nasty.
I'll just bring it up. He's not gonna fucking do that.
It's got to be real. It's got to be in the gym, though, hasn't it? It's got to be real.
It's got to have the
right atmosphere, and it's got to have the right atmosphere. Yeah. Right,
That's always
five,
thought about.
5 tips would
Yeah.
be, obviously, be honest with yourselves. That's the first one. Find a good training partner. That's the second one. Keep the people around you small. Keep the circle around you small. People
I'm not actually small, like no gains.
That's it. Keep them smaller than you. And don't spend more than an hour and a half in the training.
Oh, I'm out then.
I like you, Jack.
And when you buy them a Christmas present, don't buy it too big so the postman hurts his back carrying out the van.
Is that what's happened this year?
That's the top one.
Keep the top one.
All right, man. We shan't keep you. It's been absolute legendary 4,000.
Listen, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Well, an honour. Thanks for doing that for us.
Well, now we got this set up, and I got me technical engineer to organise it. You know,
Mate,
I'll do again.
your DM in Instagram, which is direct message, if you don't know, is
Leroy doesn't answer DMs. I get people messaging me saying,
Mate,
"Can you get Leroy to answer
well,
DMs?"
someone's phone is going to explode as soon as they realise that you can physically do a podcast. Because obviously, like the carrier pigeon version was a bit slow for today's society. So
I'm more technical up now.
Hey,
aren't
we
I?
might even have a Team Nasty podcast. You never know.
Yeah, we're good.
shit!
Oh, no,
I'm
we
gonna kill you first.
Take you boys out. Slag them, man.
That'll be death to us. All right. Anyone
Thanks, guys.
anyone else? For anyone else?
No, I just want to say a massive thank you, Leroy. It's a privilege, bud.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
I say it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed this. It's nice. It's good. It's good.
Good.
And I'll see you boys soon. And listen, have a good Christmas, a real good Christmas, and you know.
Yeah, we'll hook up in the new year.
Gains.
We'll bring Jack for a leg session.
One last question: Do you have to do all the nativity stuff with your beard?
Yeah, I'll look after it.
Leroy loves Christmas. Actually, he seriously loves Christmas.
I've got a part-time job Christmas Eve.
What do you want for Christmas? Oh, Rusty!
Now, listen. Before you go, I'll tell you a quick story. Years ago, when my eldest son was small, Liam, when he was a toddler, I decided to go the whole out. So I got this Father Christmas suit, and I got me the cushion down me. I got the big beard. And I really looked the part, you know. And Mandy was impressed that I was going to got me sack over my shoulder. I sneaked into his room. You know, I made a bit of noise, so he did. You know, checked he was awake, and he was looking. I've got one eye open. Put the presents out. Merry Christmas, and I crept out. Shut the door. I went to Mandy. Yeah, that went brilliant. Next morning, Santa's been sat. Yeah, he's there. I said, "What's up, Aidan? Liam?" I said, "Be quiet. Did you see Santa last night?" He said, "I did, yeah." He said, "And?" I said, "Why did he have your army boots on?" He clocked my army boots on. So that was the first and last time I played Santa.
Oh, you
Right then, I don't even know how to turn this off, so
don't worry, we'll do it for you.
it's been a pleasure, lads.
Thanks,
Thank you,
mate.
mate.
Right,
I'll
have
see
a good
you.
Christmas, and I'll see you soon, Dan. See you soon, lads.
Please.
You too, bro.
Mate.
Ta,
See you
mate.
guys.